And what up, everybody? Welcome back to Feral Publications YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about zines and DIY publishing. I, of course, publish Feral Comics, a comic book zine anthology with cartoonists from around the world. Link will be in the show notes. Today, I want to talk about Adele Soto's ad removal as modern art. And this is a very interesting book. It's a very big photo book. And the tagline is Photos of Unintentional Art and the Destruction of Advertisements. This is number 139 out of 200. And basically the photo series that Adele Soto was talking about was trying to capture the art that you can find throughout a city. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there is an art, there is an aesthetic. And because of this book, I started to look into what is called like urban architecture and like urban art, trying to understand ultimately what it was that Adele was trying to capture. And basically what I was reading was a multitude of things, but basically the way a city looks, the way a city feels, right? When they talk about urban planning, they even talk about like the logistics of like where they put benches, where they put water faucets, things like that add value to people's life. What they're starting to realize as well is that the way a city looks, the way a city feels, has a lot to do with emotional and mental health. And here goes one snippet. A street is the basic unit of urban space through which people experience a city. It is often misconceived as the two-dimensional surface that vehicles drive on when moving from one place to another. Streets are, in fact, multi-dimensional spaces consisting of many surfaces and structures. And so these ad removal as art is basically the way these urban spaces are painted or are decorated in a sense. Here goes another little snippet, right? Street furniture is a collective term used in the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada for objects and pieces of equipment installed along streets and roads for various purposes. The design and placement of furniture should take into account aesthetics, visual identity, function, pedestrian mobility, and road safety. Visual identity and aesthetics is kind of the key that I heard in that. And so here's another one. How urban design can impact mental health. A great deal of work has been done on how urban design can improve physical health, reducing obesity or lung diseases, for example. But in the proliferation of research and guidelines for the healthy city, mental health is still often an afterthought. This is disappointing because cities affect our mental health, and mental health problems exert huge impact on cities. This creates a vicious circle. Urban designs holds exciting potential in population mental health. While more research is needed, there's already clear evidence of the ways in which urban design can help promote good mental health, help prevent mental illness, and help support people with mental health problems. So this is where it's starting to get interesting, right? So meaning that the decor of the city, the way it feels, can have an impact on us personally. And that I found very interesting because ultimately a lot of this is basically the color scheme of the New York City. This is basically what you would see throughout the city. And it sets a tone and it sets a mood. And that is why this kind of photo series is very powerful, because he's capturing a very working class DIY aesthetic that is the building block of a city. Like, you have to think about movies, right? How do movies get it so right when they show the aesthetics of a city, and that city has a rhythm, has a feeling? You kind of have an understanding of what's going on. And it's crazy, right? When you think about it, like, it's literally people destroying ads. But it creates a texture and a feeling, an urban setting. And whether that translates to good mental health or bad mental health, I don't know. But I definitely like the feel of this art of this city. The city feels alive. It doesn't feel like it's conformed. And even more when you start realizing that it's them destroying propaganda to get you to consume and to buy. It feels like kind of like a post-apocalyptic kind of world. It feels like a world of resistance, of like a dystopian kind of world. And it might just be the precursor to things to come. Another thing that I liked about this as well is that some of the ads, it really is kind of like a historical marker, and will kind of tell you of what time period that photo was taken in. Like, look at that. Like, that just reminds me of so many city blocks. And going back to the idea of like movies and urban art and like trying to create like a sense of a story through things like this, right? The Tinder ad being destroyed, a Bart Simpson. Like, this is the stuff that like people that make movies, they want to capture somehow, and they tap into whatever it is that Adele captures here. This is the kind of stuff that people that work on sets, movie designs, and things like that. This is the type of stuff they're trying to tap into. Like, how do you create a very real sense of a community, of a city, and what are you trying to convey through that, right? Going back to like me looking through these, and I've looked through this multiple times, and it was really me just trying to understand what it was that Adele was trying to show me, and that's what I ended up understanding of like this was kind of a city kind of in a disarray, not necessarily trying to be neatly packaged and neatly sold. Kind of, it had like a feeling of like defiance to like gentrification, defiance to like consumer culture. And so in that way it kind of spoke to me, right? And it just kind of like, just going back to that point of like capturing what the city is feeling and what the city, you know, has in its like core, I guess. Capturing the feeling that you would see in the city, and even at that, like going back to kind of that snippet of I was talking about how like some of this is considered to be very closely related to your mental emotional health. It's like this is a perfect book for people studying that to look at and to ask people kind of like, what does this make you feel? Almost like ink blocks. Like, I'm sure like everyone would have their own definition of what it makes them feel. I really dug it, man. Adele, thank you so much for saying this into me. Adele is always creating very, very strong concepts. And that's why this one I really want to do my due diligence and do my homework and to really add value and to highlight basically what I felt Adele was doing through this photo series. So if you guys want to check out Adele, as always, the information will be in the show notes for you guys to link up with Adele and get your hands on this or anything else that Adele is making. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Lates.